Not only has CIG confirmed that the ship that they're teasing is an EMP/QED Scorpius, details about the ship have been found in the most recent PTU files. If the values currently found end up making it to live, I think we'll end up seeing the Hawk, Sentinel, Cutlass Blue, and especially the Mantis disappear from the verse for some time. Hello folks, Space Tech here, and welcome to a video discussing the recently announced Scorpius Antares and if it invalidates the other EMP and QED ships in Star Citizen. In CIG's own words, the Scorpius was redesigned to house a devastating EMP device and a quantum jammer. From this description, it's obvious that the Antares will be a competitor for the Vanguard Sentinel, Anvil Hawk, and Avenger Warlock. What wasn't quite clear is if the Antares was only going to be getting a quantum dampener like the Cutlass Blue. We now know though that it's going to get a full-blown quantum snare, letting it rival the RSI Mantis. If you've been to this channel before, you know that I'm all about the numbers, so let's compare these ships against our leaked values and see if this shiny new ship is going to leave the old ones forgotten. Starting off with the EMP ships, let's compare the actual statistics of the EMPs. First off, the charge time. The Antares needs 27 seconds compared to 20 seconds on the Sentinel and Warlock, and only 12 seconds on the Hawk. With distortion damage, the first three ships have 2,750 damage, but only 1,350 for the Hawk. As we can see, the Hawk's EMP does significantly less distortion than the other ships, which is why its statistics are superior in other places. The Antares EMP comes with a larger radius than all other ships. Anyone who's attempted to use an EMP can attest to how valuable that extra radius is going to be to make sure that you catch your target. The Antares also has a faster unleash time upon using the EMP, coming in at 1.5 seconds as opposed to 2 seconds for the other size 4 EMPs. Finally, the Antares ties the Warlock for a cooldown of 22 seconds, where the Sentinel takes a glacial 40 seconds. A common use case of the EMP is to force a bounty to stop in their tracks and surrender, or to force a cargo hauler to pay a fine to be released from their capture. To shut down these targets, you're required to take down at least one shield face before using your EMP. So how do these ships fare in combat? When it comes to outputting damage, the Antares sits squarely between the smaller ships and the Sentinel. A good loadout of missiles coupled with a solid DPS mean that you can stop any medium vessel quite quickly. The Scorpius sits far below the Sentinel in durability, but the size 1 shields on the smaller ships mean that those ships are equally outclassed by the Scorpius. Finally, maneuverability is where the Scorpius regains the advantage over the Sentinel while still being slower than the small ships. If these are the numbers we end up seeing in the live version of 3.18, I think the Antares definitely outclasses the Warlock and the Hawk, and it trades blows with the Sentinels when it comes to combat. What tips the scales in the Scorpius' favor is the much better EMP device, with its lower cooldown and much bigger volume for the EMP effect. Of course, the Sentinel has an interior allowing for the storage of cargo as well as logging off in a bed. For some people, this may be a big advantage for the Sentinel, but in my opinion, the Scorpius is better at the role of EMPing a target as effectively as possible, and so is a better ship in most cases. Of course, the Antares isn't just limited to an EMP, it also comes with a full-blown quantum enforcement device. The only other ships with this device are the RSI Mantis and the Cutlass Blue. A key difference between the Scorpius and the Mantis compared to the Blue is that the Cutlass can only prevent a ship from jumping into quantum. It can't rip a target out of a quantum jump. Looking at the different QEDs, there's essentially no difference between the one in the Antares and the one in the Mantis. 2,000 meter jamming range, 20,000 meter snare range with a charge time of 30 seconds and a cooldown of 2 minutes. Moving into combat, it's clear that the best combat ship of the three will likely be the Cutlass Blue. It has more missiles and body HP, as well as a higher speed. You could argue that the maneuverability of the Antares will help even the playing field between the two, but what is overwhelmingly clear is that the Mantis simply cannot compare. With its lower DPS, size 1 shields, and its minuscule hull HP, the Mantis just cannot take a fight. If all you want is the ability to jam a target's quantum drive, the Cutlass Blue with its added flexibility and its interiors is the clear winner. That being said, the Antares completely outclasses the Mantis, outside of the minuscule interiors that the Mantis has. Fundamentally, I think the issue with how the Antares is shaping up so far is that it is simply too versatile. Having access to an EMP, jammer, and snare, while also having a very respectable firepower, means that this new variant is going to be a fantastic ship in the verse. Of course, everything discussed here is based on the current Scorpius without the remote turret, and what was extracted from the recent PTU game files. It is always possible that CIG will change around numbers and capabilities before or even after a ship is released. Please like and or subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and tell me, do you think the Antares invalidates some or all of these other ships? Take care, and see you in the next one.